Hello, hello. Welcome, ladies. So, welcome back, ladies. In today's episode, we're going to be talking all about embracing our power and our gifts and what we have to offer. Sometimes it's hard to portray that. So many feelings, so many imposter syndrome, I'm sure, comes up. I'm definitely one of them, and I'm sure we can talk about that for each of us too. But I feel like Edie's had some questions today. So, let's share what's happening.
I do. So, hello, ladies. I had a really busy morning, very amazing call with one of my coaches. Something came up, and it's been a reoccurring theme lately. And as you all know, I'm a coach and I'm sharing this very vulnerably because I feel like at the end of the day, we're all human. And I want everyone to know that even for people who are in entrepreneurship or are pivoting to something completely new, this feeling that I feel is so real. And I hope that this resonates with so many people. But, she was, looking at my social media content and gave me really good feedback. And at first, the feedback felt really like heavy and my feelings were not hurt, but I just felt like, oh my gosh, like I'm not doing good enough. And one of the feedback that really like stood out to me was about stepping into my authority energy. And for those of you who don't know, the girls know this, but I had resistance towards that word authority because I'm like, I don't like what the word authority means. Like it means like I know it all. It feels like I'm in power or I'm above someone. And I just didn't feel well. And so Tati before the call reminded me about how we all brainstorm about reframing that and saying that it was expertise energy, which I didn't remember. But, during my walk after the call, I was like really in my feels. I was like, let me go walk, let me release this. And I thought to myself, I know what it's like to have that type of energy. I mean, I was in the teaching world for 8+ years and I owned my craft. I knew I was a great teacher, not in a way of like boasting or anything, but I just knew the things that I brought to the table and the knowledge, the wisdom, my thinking on my feet. Like those were things that I naturally just felt like I was in tune in. So then it was, seen by everybody by me being confident, right? Like, oh, Edie's understands, she's confident. Look at her be in her element. And I've known that world for a lot of my life. But I feel like once I left teaching to pursue a different career and to go into the coaching world, something changed. I feel like something got dismantled there. And so when she brought up that whole theme again, because again, she's not the only coach that's reminded me about stepping into my authority, I don't know, it hit hard. I don't want to say that it hurt my feelings. They just hit really hard because I'm like, what happened to me? Like I used to be that, so why am I not there? And I thought it was going to be really helpful. Maybe you guys could you ladies can coach me, tell me on how to navigate this new transition, because I feel like I want to normalize that sometimes you could be the most confident person, but then somewhere along the line you can lose it too. But it doesn't mean that we will never get back to that moment. I know that logically, but in my heart, something like is not connecting. So help me. I'm just kidding.
I love that you just said, okay, I know it logically, but something isn't connecting. Okay, great. I love that because this is my jam.
Yes.
Edie's, when you were talking about being a teacher and having this confidence when you were in your craft, there was something different that changed when you were talking about it. Your posture changed, your facial expression changed. I could feel it here, almost like in the middle of your body, that something was different. So let's just for a moment think back to when you were a teacher and you were either teaching or talking about something that you were really passionate about, or just think back to those years for a moment
Yeah.
and just feel that in your body for a moment. What happened? What are you noticing?
I definitely feel like my body is at ease more. I felt my heart energy, like I felt my heartbeat just race. And I saw the visuals. Like I saw myself being in the board, interacting with my parents, interacting with different team members, training people, seeing my students laugh and seeing every successful moment that they had.
So
And
feel
it filled me
that.
up with joy. Yeah.
As you're talking about it, do you feel there's something different? Just feel that as you're talking about it.
I feel all the energy on my chest, but it's a good energy. Like I
Yeah.
want to burst, like but
Yes.
it's in a great way. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's just access that a little bit more. Let's just feel into it just for a little bit.
Okay.
We're doing some mini somatic experiencing right now.
Ooh.
I love it. I love it.
Oh man, I got emotional. I think I'm feeling emotional, but it's like happy joy because I was really in my element. I was actually happy. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I just felt like happy memories coming through, and at the same time sadness, because I did leave very sudden to take a leap of faith in a different, for a different life. I don't know. Oh my gosh, tears. Oh man, sorry you guys ahead of time, because I'm legit crying.
Your name's not
Don't be
sorry.
sorry. I know my name's not sorry. You're so right, Lupe.
We don't accept your apology.
I know, dang it. No, but yeah, I definitely felt sadness come through at the same time. Joy, but sadness.
Yeah.
There's
It's
there's moments that I missed it, I guess. I think that's what it is. Sometimes I miss it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. It sounds like there might be a little bit of grief there of like what you miss. Yeah. And I wonder if you can access some of that in what you're doing now, in your coaching now, or like as you continue to show up, like access those parts of you that feel so passionate about your craft, right? But you know how I always say, like,
Yeah.
it always goes back to the nervous system and the body, right? Like, don't just access it here by thinking about it, but access
Yeah.
it here. And that's how you connect the mind and the heart, the mind and the body is by using that logical brain, using memory, and then connecting to the physical sensation and seeing if you can like lean into that a little bit more. Because I was saying off camera, like you're a naturally confident person. Like I know that you are a confident person, you're a natural leader. And I feel that energy anytime I talk to you. And I know that other people feel that energy, I'm sure, when they talk to you. And so I feel like it's just leaning into that energy, but again, like in your body, what's the physical sensation? You know how you said all the energy is here in your chest and it's kind of like bursting out, and then there's a
Yeah.
little bit of sadness, but also some happiness. It's we want to lean into that so that we can access that inner confidence and show up a little bit more in that energy.
Okay. So tap into it right now.
If you want
Okay,
to. I
okay,
don't
let
know if
me
Lupe
see.
has anything she wanted to share.
I was taking notes so I wouldn't forget. The last few years, I've realized that a lot of times the reason we don't show up, we don't move forward, or we don't practice consistency is because there's a blockage, right? Very much so, like Dati talks about with the nervous system. So when it comes to coaching, and because I could relate to this, I feel like there's a reason wanted to become a coach. There's a reason that led us there. But part of that reason is that it's part of us. And so we have to be vulnerable. And that
Mhm.
vulnerability is so difficult to not overcome, but become one with it. Because vulnerability requires you to
100%.
be out there. It requires you to show the raw things. It requires you to not be perfect. And if you're trying to sell these services, you almost want to be this perfect person, right? Or you want
Mhm.
to say, like, you got this, like, I did it, you can do it, got it. But sometimes it requires a little bit of that vulnerability and getting comfortable with it. That's the word, getting comfortable with it. And that in itself is so difficult and so ever growing. Like, I don't think there's
Yeah.
ever a moment where you hit that, like, oh, I got it, check. No, it's going to continue to like come up. It's going to continue to show up in different ways. And I feel like being a coach and showing up as your most authentic, powerful self requires you to show a little bit of that like rawness. And sometimes for us, it's not easy. And sometimes that's where the hesitation comes up. But more so for you, was advice they gave you was, it's almost picture perfect. And for me, lately, showing up as my raw self has actually allowed me to be consistent because I'm not constantly like, oh, I worked out today. No, I genuinely didn't work out today because I was exhausted. And then the other thing is, as a teacher and as other careers we've had, we get a playbook. We get a roadmap. And as a coach, we don't get that. We get so many different things that it's almost like we get so many different avenues, but we have to genuinely still show up as ourselves and just gravitate and grab things that are in alignment with ourselves. And sometimes it requires a lot of getting to know yourself so that you always stand firm in like, this is who I am. So I'm only going to grab from here like this, and I'm only going to grab
Yeah.
from here like this. But it's a constant like, why can't I just have it's a frustration sometimes too, because you don't have that roadmap. You get tired, you get exhausted, you're like, I'm done, forget it. You know what? I'm gonna take a break today. That's like if someone showed up to like work out, but they don't have a workout plan. So now you're just gonna mess
Yeah.
around with the machines at the gym, and now you're just probably gonna hurt yourself. You're probably gonna overdo it, and you're not gonna want to go back. Also being conscious that like in careers, we get told what to do. We get a roadmap. We get like like guidance. As a coach and as our own business, the beauty of it all is that we get to do it our own way. And sometimes that's actually very difficult because you're like,
No, 100%.
battling with, I want to do it my way, but what is my way? So now it's this big question of who am I? And you're like, I thought I knew who I was.
Yeah.
100%. As you're saying that, it's all clicking. 100%. Because when I was in this teaching world, I knew who Edie's was. Like, it was so easy. And like you said too, like there was a roadmap. And even then though, right, I would even challenge that within myself to realize, but once I got the diploma, once I got, the certification that I needed to become a teacher, the classroom is a whole different ball game though, especially in the field that I was in special education. If you know anything about SPED is very unpredictable. You can have all the lesson plans created, it's all beautiful, but everything switches in a moment. If a student has a behavior, if a student is maybe having a seizure, or a student is just like not engaged, right? Sometimes you have to call the shots in the moment. And when you were mentioning all of that, I'm like, you're right. There was a roadmap and there was like a lot of heaviness when I left, because when I decided to leave that career, I had no idea what my world was going to look like afterwards. I went into corporate, just to give everybody context, where I started working remotely, and I felt lonely in the beginning because I was like, I don't know anybody. I don't understand how corporate works. What do you mean people can get laid off at any time? I was so used to the teaching world where you can be stable, everything is good, you have a job because they need you. Like, so obviously they're going to hire you and get you doing all the things that you need to do to stay there. Yeah, it was such unknown times. And the way I left was very like, I left in the middle of the school year too, on top of that. And that's very unheard of, right? But I took the chance to take a leap of faith. Yeah, to step into a world that I had no idea of. On top of that, leaving my home. Like the Bay Area was my home for such a long time. So I got a lot of different things that went on all at the same time. And I think that's where I reflect deeply, because you're right. Like I knew who I was. I knew the people around me. Like I just had everything already foundationally set. That's how it felt. It felt safe. It felt secure. And like you said, Lupe, like entrepreneurship is a whole different ball game. Even in like corporate, if you're in corporate, like you just never know when layoffs are going to happen, if you're going to be let go. It just feels very unknown. And that's been kind of hard to navigate. That's the right word. It's been hard to navigate, because if also, for those of you who don't know back context, like I left corporate literally a year ago. Like I'm celebrating that too. And I've stepped into like full-time entrepreneurship since then. And it hasn't been easy, like you said, Lupe. I've been finding out more and more things about who I am. And sometimes I do beat myself up in that sense, because I'm like, I thought I knew who I was. And now, yes, I'm all an advocate as of, I'm evolving and this and that. But even that is really hard. Understanding that we do evolve, understanding that there was a point where I thought I knew who I was. And now I'm changing again. Like, how do I navigate all of this? And it's not always easy, because sometimes people want you to be a certain way. And sometimes you put that pressure on yourself too, of like, well, this is who I was in the beginning. So I need to keep following this like thing that I've set up for myself. But you're right. I think it's that holding on tightly of that identity that I was instead of just releasing it and letting go and being like, it's okay if we're changing again. It's okay. And I think I haven't fully stepped into that. And I think that's why it's been so hard to tap into that authority / expertise / confidence energy, because I feel like I'm just changing all the time. And off this call, I was telling the ladies that I felt like a hypocrite a little bit, because I'm like, how is it that I'm preaching, saying all these things when I'm also on the back end navigating, relearning, unlearning deeper things about myself? So how do I just keep tapping into that confidence without feeling like imposter syndrome is kicking in, or feeling like, am I being a hypocrite? Because I'm over here saying like, tú puedes, like you can change, and this is the woman that you can become. And I'm over here on the other side, also navigating like a deeper layer of what I'm saying, because now it looks different. I hope that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Go ahead, Lupe.
You can't possibly be a hypocrite if you're actually living day by day what you're preaching.
Mic drop. Oh, shoot. You got me. Oh, shoot.
And I say that because I go through it too. We all go through it. So you're preaching to the right choir, because every single woman goes through this, whether it's from a surrender point of view, whether it's from a health point of view, whether it's from a trauma point of view. We're constantly growing, unlearning, relearning. 5 years in, I'm still learning about my hormones. Like it's a constant relearning. Just
Yeah.
because I'm still learning doesn't mean I'm not an expert.
And we're
Oh,
also
so good.
changing and evolving every single day, right? Like, that's just
Yeah.
part of the human process, right? And it's a good sign that you are continuing to change and evolve and grow, right? And I feel like I resonate with this so much. Like, I always put myself in a box, and I felt like I wore so many different masks. So I felt like I had to show up in the way that people perceived me. Like, I felt like I couldn't be different than how they perceived me. That goes back to, like, the people pleasing and fawning, right? Like, all of that trauma response.
Yeah.
But I think that once I started to really reconnect with who I was at my core, right? And know that, like, we can be different from one moment to another moment. We don't have to put ourselves in a box, right? Like, we can
Yeah.
decide right now, I can decide I'm going to be completely different in the next minute, and that's just who I am, right? And that's okay, right? And so allowing yourself to be whoever you want at any given moment. So if today you showed up one way, but tomorrow you're like, I actually don't want to show up in that way today, then giving yourself permission to just be whoever you want, right? Because there are no, I always say this, there are no rules in life. There are no
Yeah.
rules in life. And, like, you can literally be whoever you want, and being able to just reconnect with who you are at your core. And that might be different from day to day, right? Or from month
Yeah.
to month or year to year, right? And it's just kind of like coming back to yourself. Who am I? And yes, I'm definitely not the same person I was a month ago, or maybe even a year ago, or even maybe a second ago, right?
Yeah,
But
1000%.
it's just, yeah, reconnecting with that part of yourself again.
That's powerful. Go ahead, Lupe.
And when you think about it, as women, we genuinely go through different phases
We
every
do.
single month. So, how could we
Yeah.
possibly not be renewing, relearning, unlearning, and going through it all when we literally, our bodies go through it every single month? So, how can we also physically and mentally not help but go through the same thing?
100%. And it's funny that you both mentioned that because I literally had a client call yesterday where we were coaching in regards to how tiring it is to keep wearing masks for different types of people and be in this performative mode. Are you not tired of living like a double life in some forms and capacities, right? And it's kind of like the analogy that we both came up with in the session was like being the ship with an anchor, and that is like pulling me down. So of course there's a lot of resistance and whatnot, but the moment I allow it to just embrace it, like you said, Lupe, like understand that we do go through our different phases. Like I can change at any moment, like Tati said, and embrace that I don't have to show up in the same ways. That anchor goes up and it allows the ship to move wherever it needs to go with more fluidity. And yeah, we don't have to wear the mask, but you could still show up authentically as yourself because it is tiring to live a double life or what feels like you're putting on consistently different masks just to show up in a particular way. That's really powerful because I'm reflecting on that on myself without realizing that my client also coached me in that very moment as I'm thinking about today, as I'm navigating what I'm going through. And you're right though, like I am going to be evolving and changing, but it's allowing myself to accept that and be okay with the woman that is coming up and that her needs look different, that my expertise is still there, but because I'm going through these things, that's what's going to make my expertise and my confidence stronger. Like there's a different level of a foundation that's being created there. And I wasn't looking in those lens before. I was looking at it as I'm starting over again. Like defeating myself because I'm like, oh, I left teaching and then I had to embrace this like corporate face and like then a coach, even though I love coaching though, like there's no, like I love coaching. It's very similar to teaching. So I want to clarify that. But it feels like I've had to navigate each one differently instead of realizing that a lot of the craft, a lot of the past experiences that I have just transfer over. Like we always hear about that in the corporate world. Like you can transfer your skills. You really don't need a certification to pivot to different career or whatever. But I never thought about that really deeply in my own life because I've always felt like I need a certification to prove my expertise, or maybe if I would have been a therapist, people would take me more seriously with like my surrendering stuff. And that's not it. It's just like my thoughts and the blocks that get in the way. You guys just, and then again, going back to the analogy of the ship and the anchor, like the anchor just keeps dropping me down. So obviously I'm going to feel stuck because my ship can't move anywhere. Yeah, allowing it to just like go up and flow will allow me to then accept. I keep hearing acceptance a lot throughout this call. Like I have to accept who I am, and that the energy, the core energy that's there comes from the past experiences and is just being transferred over.
I
Go
also
ahead.
think that in order to be an expert, right, like, because you said that you felt like a hypocrite, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just need to be like 1 or 2 steps ahead of the person that you're coaching. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to be coaching someone who's going through the same exact thing
Yeah.
as you, because then you probably wouldn't be a great coach to them because you're not 1 or 2 steps ahead of them, versus you are 1 or 2 steps ahead, or maybe even 3 or more steps ahead of the women that you're coaching, right? And so you have that expertise, you have those skills, you can come from that energy of like, I've been there. And now, yes,
Yeah.
of course, I'm still continuing to evolve and grow because I'm a human, not a robot. And
Yeah.
I a little bit more ahead of, I've been through what you've experienced, so now I can coach
Yeah.
you in a from like a different perspective. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. That makes a lot of sense.
I also think that, and this just comes from our last episode where we think that once we're done with one, we're on to number two and on to number three and on to number four. So we have this mindset that we're supposed to follow this specific roadmap. I'm supposed to know it. I'm supposed to know how to be an expert. I'm supposed to showcase that I can do this, right? We're always growing. So it doesn't have to be, it's like that meme that you've seen where what does success look like or what does a growth look like? It's not a straight ladder up. It's a like zigzag, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what life is. And so sometimes we are too afraid to be okay with that zigzag instead of just embracing it. That's how we, I think, embrace our authority, embracing the fact that it's not going to be a linear going up, it's going to be a zigzag going up. As long as, and this is the thing, I always ask my clients, do you think you're going in the right direction? Perfect. If you are, then we're going the right way. I don't care if you just slept this whole week and didn't work out. But do you
Yeah.
think that at the end of the day, you have the capacity of still projecting upward? If you do, we're going the right way. Maybe this week you just needed to mellow down, slow down, and that's okay. But success doesn't look linear straight up. It looks very bumpy going up.
100%. No, it's true. I definitely needed that reminder, like a gentle reminder to myself. And I think that's where I'm still at in my journey, is crafting that. I mean, I've already understood that the journey is not going to be linear. I've understood that. I just feel like for me, sometimes, what comes up? It's like, and this is where I'm going to be also very honest, is that concept of like, but I thought I would be there already. That thought process, right? Of like, I thought I would be there already. And kind of like what you said, Lupe, and it kind of makes sense when I think that way because I am thinking of a roadmap, right? Like when you're obviously going to school and you get certified or you have a degree in a specific field, you know that by a certain timeline, you reach like that, like, oh, I become like a master, special education leader in this field, or like I've, got my doctorates and I'm able to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah, the learning is continuous, but like you've reached that sense of like mastery. I think that's what it is, mastery. You're right, Lupe. Like maybe I need patience, patience with
Said it.
myself,
You said it.
patience in regards to just understanding that I'm still evolving, one, but patience with my own journey. Because I understand there's ups and downs. Like, trust me, I have been through the valley and mountain stages of my life various times in such a short amount of time. It's kind of crazy. So I understand that concept, but I guess in my heart energy, I'm like, I just thought I would be there already, though. I'm putting in the work. I'm doing exactly what I need to do. I'm asking for help. I'm aligned with the right communities. What's missing, right? Like, what about my authority is still not there 100%? And I put a lot of pressure on that, on this current version of me, because I'm like, why am I not there yet? And I think that's where I can speak for myself, and maybe there's other girls like that can relate to this, but like, it's an interesting experience to go through.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be there yet?
Okay, I'll tell you. I've been really reflecting on this and I got serious, but like I mean this in the best way because I'm in my dream mode right now again because I want a place of fulfillment. And I know that sounds weird, but it's like I want to be completely fulfilled and proud of the stage of where I'm at in my life and acknowledge that and accept that all that I sacrificed was worth it. And I think that I haven't gotten there yet because of everything that I've been going through financially, even though I'm married and I have a great husband who provides and all that, but I want to build something of my own that's successful, that brings stability, that I know that it was so worth it. And I feel that, like, not in the place of sadness or like, oh my God, like, I feel that energy because I feel like I'm called to have something like that. And I'm like, nah, like, it's just, that's why I left teaching. That's why I trusted and took a leap of faith of like when I sat there in that meditation of what like before I went to the Grand Canyon and was like there's more to life than this, like I truly believe that. And I haven't, and that's where I feel guilty because I'm like God's blessed me with so many things in my life, so why? And I practice gratitude all the time, but there's this guilt that comes up in my body and in my heart where I'm like you should be happy with what you have. And I still feel like nah, like I am grateful, but like, when is my time coming? I think that's where I sit with that a lot. And I say this very vulnerably because I never share this out loud with anybody. I hope nobody judges me.
This is
But
a judgment-free zone.
yeah, I was like, I hope no one judges me.
If you're judging, get out of here.
Yeah, get out. I'm just kidding.
Tati will kick you out.
No. But that's how I feel. And I feel like I've talked to other women that feel that way. And I know I'm not alone. But then I asked myself, like, well, then how do we get to that place that we so desire to have? That thing that I know is supposed to be there without it sounding unrealistic or whatever, right? Because the world is so good with telling you to be logical and be this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I think that's what's been in my way too, where I'm trying to be logical and I'm like, well, I got to practice gratitude and like, I'm so grateful. And, like I have everything. I got married and this and that. I'm just like exaggerating it because I feel like that's how we can sound sometimes. But deep down, like my soul is like, nah, girl, like there's more. Like there's more. Like this cannot be it. Like
And
I
you're
know we're
allowed that.
grateful. Yeah. Sorry,
Like,
go ahead.
you're allowed to want more. Like it's totally okay to be happy and content with what you have now and want more. Like I feel the same exact way as you, Edie. Like I am grateful for where I am, but like I know I'm meant for more. Like I know I am never going to settle in my life and I am going to always reach for bigger and better because I deserve that and I want that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like, yeah, society is really great at telling us, like, oh, you should just be grateful for what you have. And like, it's not like money isn't everything. No, like, trust me, money will solve a lot of my problems. Like, I will,
100%.
it's totally
100%.
okay to like want more and dream bigger and just being okay with that, right? Like giving yourself again like that full permission to be like, no, I want more and I'm going to own that. I'm going to own that I deserve more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just the guilt comes up. And I think that as an eldest daughter, a first gen, a woman of color, that hits even harder though. Cause then I'm like, yeah, like I don't know how to explain it, but the guilt feels really real. Cause I'm like, I feel like I should be grateful. I should be proud, but it just feels real. And I don't know how to explain it or articulate it for the first time in my life. I just don't, but I feel it like deeply in my core where I'm like, it's one of those things, and I'm very big on tuning in with your soul level. Like, I feel like it's one of those things where I know it's there, but I can't fully, I don't know the answer, like in the sense of like what the outcome will be or what steps I need to take to make that into a reality, and just like, again, articulating it. I hope that made sense. The guilt is real though. I feel it. And I think that's another block that comes up when I'm trying to go into this authority, like confidence energy where I'm like, I know who I am. This is Edie's Beatriz and this and that. But it feels so, so different. It's been an interesting world to navigate. And I know that the ladies here are coaching me to the max. So I appreciate you all because I feel like it was needed.
Is your guilt for dreaming big?
My guilt is because of the feeling that I want more. I feel like dreaming big, that's a natural Edie's thing, baby. We dream big. And guess what? Edie's gets what she wants. I've always been that girl from the get-go, since I was 6 years old. I know that spirit in me where I see it and I'm like, that thing is mine and I will make sure that it's mine. That I have that energy in me and it hasn't gone away, but the guilt is of like everything that you've desired. Leaving teaching, being married, having the business, all that is what you wanted. So why do you want more? You know what I mean? That thing is like, damn, but like, why is it there? Like, this is where I thought I would be like more quote unquote fulfilled. I thought I would be more in a place of ease and see like my business actually grow bigger, right? But I'm not there yet. So I feel like there's a lot of, that's the guilt that comes from it. Cause I feel like half of me is battling that good girl syndrome, I guess, of like, but you got what you wanted. Like, you should just be happy. Hush, hush. Stop being that way, you know, versus the other version of like that half side of me is like pulling and saying like, yes, it's beautiful. We got these things, but I want more. And not in a place of selfishness. Cause that's what I feel like it sounds like too. Like I'm being selfish and I'm like, my moral compass hits deep on that one.
It's your life. You're allowed to be selfish. You're allowed to want more. But I guess my question is fulfillment coming from reaching these things like the business, getting married, the house, all these things? Is that where fulfillment is tied to? Because I think that you can be fulfilled in your life and like I said, and still want more. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if fulfillment is tied to the things that you're reaching, the milestones, right? Then maybe that's where the disconnect could be. But I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What how do you feel?
Man, I feel like as I'm marinating with all of this, you're right. I don't need those things to make me feel fulfilled. But then I also wonder, like, what's the bridge between that, right? Like, what connects of like that feeling of wanting more? Or is it something that I still haven't discovered yet? I think that's what's coming up for me. Because you're right. Then that becomes a rat race. I don't know why I thought about a race. Where I'm like, instead of being in like the corporate side or in the teaching side, you know, when everyone's like, oh, si te casas, when you get married, then the babies, then this, then that, right? Then you'll be good. Or same with the career. You go to school, you get your degree, you get a good paying job, and that's it. And I feel like that's where I'm at again. And maybe that's where, damn, okay, I guess that is where I'm learning my lesson of like, I have to dismantle that and redefine what success means to me again. I think success has gone to a lot of redefining these past couple of years for me. And I guess I haven't found one that really has hit home because every time I feel like I redefine success, I feel like, okay, that's good, but then it's not it yet. So I feel like I have to redefine success in a place of radical acceptance and radical honesty of like, what does Edie's really want and not what the world thinks that I should have or the people around me. What does Edie's really want? And I don't think I've asked myself that. And I feel like the moment that I am honest with myself and I can accept everything else, like you guys mentioned, like my journey is not going to be linear. It's going to be like all over the place, spiral, zigzag, lo que sea. And connecting with the fact that I could still have more, but wanting more comes from in a place of like, I already know what success means. And when success is there, like when I know that definition for myself, I'll be able to navigate that and find spaces that align to that. That's what comes up.
Going back to your analogy of with the anchor and the sailboat, let's go with the same thing. You defining success is your compass. So your compass is going to tell you which direction you're going to go.
Oof.
The waves will tell you otherwise because waves will come at you. You have no control over that. That's life.
Yeah.
But when you are firm in your compass and which direction you're going, either the waves are going to go with you or they're going to fight you, but you still know which way you're going. So you're going to keep going that way. And I think that's why I brought up before the last episode where we think that after going to school, you get a job, you get married. It's this constant, I'm supposed to be doing this or I'm supposed to be at this level at this point. And no one's supposed to be anywhere. I will never forget my therapist once said, get rid of that word in your vocabulary.
That's a good therapist.
Anytime you use suppose, now you're adding pressure to yourself.
Yeah.
And
Oof.
how about you redefined everything for yourself? Define
Yeah.
to me, for the longest, success was how much more money can I make? And that's how I got burnt out in corporate until I
That was mine
realized
too.
like it's supposed to feel good. Like my job's supposed to feel good. And that's where I had the discovery of being a coach. Now it's a matter of fulfillment, like you said. But for me, success is I get to have slow days. I get to define my days. I get to take it slow and create my schedule. Yes, it's completely different. Yes, it's frustrating because now I'm like, oh my God, plain blank paper. I start from scratch. Where do I even start? But it's different and it's something that I've always wanted. I'm no longer anxious. I'm no longer running to a freaking meeting. I'm no longer staying over hours. It's my ship. It's my navigation. And no one can tell me where I'm supposed to be because it's Lupe's ship.
Yeah.
Love that
That's
so much.
powerful.
I 1000% agree with everything you said, Lupe. Like, I really feel like success is inner peace,
Mhm.
right? Like, I feel like I'm successful. Am I financially successful? Do
Right.
I have all of the clients that I want?
Correct.
Is my business where I want it to be? Absolutely not. And I feel like I'm successful in life because I'm happy. I have inner peace. And I feel like, right, just redefining success is going to be different for every single person.
Yeah.
It's like reconnecting with that again, with who you are at your core. Are you happy at your core? If you are, I mean, you're successful. I also feel like if you're like a kind human being, you're successful. I really do feel like if you have like been through a lot of things in your life and yet you still show up and you feel the feels and you're a kind human being and you respect people and you just like can be present and have that inner peace, like you're successful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all
It's so
successful in our
true.
own ways, right?
100%. Gonna be my homework assignment or my fun assignment, however we want to label that as, is like me redefining success again because I feel like I've gone through so many levels, but I still haven't found that one. And I feel like I have. I just haven't been honest with myself with what that success means for me because I tend to again mold to other people's expectations around me. And so I will admit that even being as a surrender coach, because that's the people pleaser in me sometimes where I just want to make everyone's life convenient and easy versus acknowledging. I know, but that's also the eldest daughter syndrome though.
Yes, it
Like
is.
I am
It
the
is.
eldest daughter, so it goes with that a lot as well. So it's like I am adapting to that. And I thought it was adapting, but it's really molding. And I think that I have to redefine success. But I have my list. It's just being honest and putting it out there, being like, this is really what I want.
Being
Yeah.
consistent with your list.
Yes.
Because why with my clients, I always tell them healthy looks very different per person and
Mm-hmm.
it's step by step. And when we
100%.
focus with step by step, it's not to say that they don't have a bigger picture. We come up with
Yeah.
the 3 goals that they want to accomplish. But it's how do we get to those goals step by step? Because when we do that, one, we appreciate the journey. Two, it makes the journey easy. And three, it makes it easy to be consistent.
Yeah.
And so I think that for anyone listening out there, what's one small thing that you can focus on, journal on, meditate on to help redefine who you are and what you want? Not to anyone else's standards, not to a definition to anybody else's, but yours. What do you want your ship to look like?
100%. And can I also add on there too, for the listener who feels anything similar to me, like don't be hard on yourself either. I feel like that pressure that we've consistently put on ourselves is actually what's holding us and anchoring us down instead of allowing our ship to actually move. So don't be hard with yourself and just accept and just be honest.
Don't be afraid to unlearn.
Yeah,
And
so
if it
freaking
makes you
powerful.
feel any better, Edie, my sister who's older, I'm putting her on blast, but it's okay. She's 40 something years old and now she's learning how to unlearn what it's like to put other people first. So you're ahead of the game, girlfriend.
Oh,
So
thank
be
you.
proud of
But
that.
kudos to your sister though, because it's not easy.
Right. And I think
Not
that's
easy.
another thing we also need to acknowledge, anyone listening, like it's okay to start whenever you start. Who
Yeah.
cares? Like
Yeah.
unlearn whenever you need to start unlearning. And that's it.
Yeah, that was so good. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for coaching me. I really appreciate it because that was really heavy in my heart and I just needed to release that. So, thank you for being a safe place. And I hope that this served our listeners and wherever you're listening. If this resonated, let us know. If there's questions that you have, let us know. We're more than happy to help you. But in the meantime, I hope you guys stay lit, and we'll catch you all next time. Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on Lit Podcast. We hope this conversation has ignited a spark within you so that you keep embracing your journey.
Remember, transformation takes time, but every step brings you closer to the life you're meant to live. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share, and leave a review.
Let's continue this journey together. Until next time, stay lit and keep transforming.